Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Questions. We are at one of the coolest places I've ever seen. We are at Battlefield, Las Vegas, and this place is amazing.
This place is awesome. They got tanks. Well, you guys will see in the B-roll. They have a little coffee shop here with really good coffee. They serve Black Rifle coffee.
Yeah.
I like this place.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
After we get done with our questions, we have a special guest coming on to answer questions. Yeah, let's just jump right into it. Ryan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay. So that doesn't say who this is from, but it says, when it comes to the same types of boards, such as cedar pickets, do you leave them stacked as is, or do you suggest getting them cut down to sizes wanted or needed first, trying to determine which way would be ideal? So, especially when it comes to cedar pickets, first thing you got to do is obviously let them dry. You need that moisture content pretty low, like around 7%, 10%, something like that is what you're looking for. It's going to vary depending on where you are, what the weather looks like, but when you stack them to dry them, you're going to leave them as is. Take them out of your truck and you're going to put stickers in between them, stack them, and let them dry. Now, once they're dry, what I like to do is I cut them down to size and I put edges on them. Usually I'll just put a chamfer on them, but a fairly small chamfer, so if somebody wants a scalloped edge or something different, I can do that and it won't...
You can scallop right over the top of the chamfer.
Yeah, you can scallop over the top of the chamfer or add the ragged edge, whatever you want. Once you put the edge on them, then you want to spray them black. You don't want to leave those edges just open to the elements. You want a little bit of protection on there because they could warp if they're there for a while, if the weather changes, you know, the humidity is higher, that edge will soak in all that moisture and it will warp the boards, cup them, twist them, whatever. So to dry them off, you want them stacked just as you bought them, and then you cut them into the desired sizes and put your edges on them, spray them black.
And if you don't want to spray them black, at least throw some clear Rust-Oleum on, just something to seal up the ends of those boards, because that's where the moisture will attack it. All right, so this is kind of a two-part question. This is from Dwayne. Dwayne says, how do you deal with very open-grained wood? By open grain, I mean that it sucks up the black primer like a sponge and bleeds into the surrounding areas, even when spraying with a very light touch. I'm using cedar fence pickets from Home Depot, and spraying the carved letters is impossible to sand out. I've had to hand paint the letters with a more viscous paint, which is extremely time consuming. Thanks for the videos and everything you've shared. Okay, so a couple things going on here. Number one, if you're using primer and cedar, I've really not had any problem with bleeding, hardly ever. But if the wood is not dry, and he didn't necessarily, Dwayne didn't mention this here, if the wood has a little bit too high a moisture content, kind of like what Ryan was just talking about, wait till they're dry, 10%, 12% max. I mean, anything over that, I wouldn't attempt it. I'd let it dry out more. That's number one. Number two, even though it may seem like you're just putting a light coat of primer on, if you don't keep that can moving, it's so possible that you could get bleeding, even on cedar. So any of these woods will bleed if you don't keep that can moving, especially with this primer, because the primer has that heavy nozzle that comes out super fast, a lot more than the old Marsh ink comes out. That's just a traditional old type spray nozzle. So the primer, the Rust-Oleum primer, comes out much faster. So you gotta keep that can moving. And number three, if you still have issues with that and you can't quite control it, go ahead and seal it up. Use the sanding sealer. Seal those boards up. If you're having issues with bleeding on anything, generally we only have it on pine, but if you're having issues with anything on bleeding, just go ahead and throw some sanding sealer on there. It's not a bad idea if you end up having kind of a heavy finger with that primer. So hopefully that was helpful if you guys are still having bleeding issues with stuff other than pine. Pine is the only thing that we really have bleeding issues with, and the sanding sealer or sealing it up really kind of takes care of that.
And I like using the Rust-Oleum Clear, usually 1 or 2 coats instead of sanding sealer. I don't care for using sanding sealer. Usually it's a brush on, takes forever to dry, raises the grain a lot, so you have to sand some of that off. I just like using 2 coats of Rust-Oleum Clear. It's faster and it eliminates bleeding for the most part.
Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Now you will see super special guest. You guys will just be blown away by this special guest.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Very exciting. We're super excited. So stay tuned.
Okay guys, I'm the special guest and this is my new room. Is this not freaking awesome? They'll tell you more about this here in a minute, but it's pretty dang cool. Anyway, so I have a question. I get this question all the time. So the question is, where do you get your artwork? A lot of my artwork, if I can get it from Google.
Excuse me.
Oh, was that the machine gun?
That was a
Oh, you guys got to see this place. This place is awesome. Anyway, so a lot of the artwork that I get from Google, as long as it doesn't say vector stock or clip art or what is it, clip pro. As long as there's no watermark on it, you can probably use it. I wouldn't necessarily use a lot of the Google stuff to cut out like the templates that we sell. I don't do that because then we're selling something that maybe somebody else has rights to. So, but most everything I get, there's a new website that I've been using. It's called Laser Ready Art, and they have stuff that's already set and ready to cut, which I really like. I get a lot of stuff there lately. And also vector stock. Vector stock is inexpensive. It's not like the other ones. What are some of the other ones? There's iStock. Those things are expensive to join there. It's like monthly fees are like 30, 40 bucks a month. And I just don't use that much, and I don't know anybody that really does to warrant that kind of money. So vector stock is really cool because it's like every clip art that you get is like 1 point, and 1 point is $1. So I put like $50 on my account, and I get 50 clip arts, 50 credits, and 1 credit per clip art that I want to use. They have thousands. They have everything that you can think. It's just there's a lot of clip art on vector stock. It's really, really good. If you Google coloring pages, you can get free coloring pages, like, you know, things that flowers and trees and ducks and camels, whatever you want. Or actually go down to the dollar store and get color books, and then you've got, you know, clip art right there. So that's about it. Any place you can get pictures. So if somebody calls me or emails me and says, can you make me a template that is the Raiders logo or the Denver Broncos logo? No, absolutely not. I will not do it. It's copyrighted and I can get in trouble. So I had somebody ask me the other day about the new logo for the Raiders, because they're now here in Vegas. Copyrighted, no. If it's watermarked, no. So anyway, guys, I think that's about it. I want to go shopping in this here store.
And you've already been shopping.
I've already been shopping, and I've already had coffee, so it's very strong. It's I'm a little bouncy, so it's good coffee though. And this place is called Battlefield
Las Vegas. Right?
Las Vegas, yeah. So you guys, this place is awesome. If you have not been here or you get to Vegas, you gotta come and check this place out. You can even shoot a machine gun in a helicopter. Shoot a machine gun. Pretty awesome. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you later and have a great day. Bye.